Systemic Resolution Advisory Committee. So what does that tell you? This committee is put together to consider what the outcome may be in a full-on meltdown of the financial system, a systemic resolution advisory. They're trying to figure out solutions. I can't see how they can come up with any solution when only they have $125 billion supposedly insuring $9 trillion worth of assets. All right. So anyway, this thing here had a meeting in November to discuss how the next market crash would occur and what steps would need to be taken to ensure not everybody tries to pull their cash out of the financial system at the same time. One member of this committee noted that while institutions will soon be able to figure out the dire implications of a financial collapse, this is what they're talking about, the general public should not be made aware because that would lead to unintended consequences. So freaking believable, people. The FDIC officials recently discussed how to deal with the next approaching market collapse and hide alarming data from depositors to prevent bank runs now, because they don't want people, running for the hills here. FDIC, you don't want a huge run on the institutions, and there's going to be.
Good evening, 7:46 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, January 11th, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Florida for just the next couple of days here. So as you heard Gregory Mannarino, and please, I had all of his links up there and everything you need to know how to not only get his channel, but to get his indicators and everything alike, because I believe out of 99.9% of YouTube, he's one of the 0.1% that I honestly and truly believe he's doing it for the greater good. I believe he does it for the same reason I do, because he knows if he doesn't do it, nobody else will. He doesn't deep dive into the charts. He doesn't deep dive into crypto. But what he does do is he gives you the world economic news and the news of the current market structure and what the Fed is actually doing. He tries to keep you a step ahead when it comes to the financial system. And if you start collecting yourselves with good souls like Peter Schiff, like Robert Kiyosaki, like Mike Maloney, like Jordan Peterson, like Gregory Mannarino, and he has the MMRI market indicator. He's one of the best too. I think he's somebody, Gregory or Greg, I don't know him personally, but he does something completely different. And he's somebody that I've come to know, somebody I've come to trust, and somebody that I've come to rely on each and every day. So pre-market, every single day, he gives you a pre-market breakdown. Afternoon, he gives you a post-market wrap-up. That's what he does. He's not here on Sundays typically, not the weekends, or not Saturday, I mean. Sundays, you can get a pre-week trading, He covers the markets is the point. And there's not very many people who can do it as good as he does, or can be as honest as he is. So, with that being said, pay attention to the bank runs that are going to be coming. Pay attention and get wise to this term, the bank bail in instead of the bank bail out. You're going to be bailing the banks. We are. Us as an individual are going to be bailing out the banks soon. So, learn the term and understand what bank bail-ins are. I've talked about it many times over the last 22 months. And understand when they go on bank runs, your cash isn't going to be available. Gregory Mannarino and that 1 minute and 30 seconds or roughly that I shared, and go watch his video. You can see it clear as day. The link's right on the screen. He talked about how they have $125 billion roughly to cover over, $8 or $9 trillion of funds they need to cover. If you or I did that, we'd be in jail if we were running a business like this. So here's the deal. I'm going to be a lot stronger, a lot more vocal, and a lot more directive with what I need done. and what I need to see and what we need to do together. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I'm going to give you other influencers like Gregory, like Peter, like Robert, and a few others, Mike Maloney, Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing, you can throw in there too, because he's one of the ones I trust the most, because I can see his chart and I know he knows what he's talking about, and it happens the way he says. So we need to start getting on the same page, and we need to start sharing these other influencers that are all good. I always talk about the dark side of YouTube. There is a few, and when I say a few, I mean about 0.0001%. But out of thousands and even millions of poor influencers, that gives you a handful to choose from. And if you've noticed, every single person I ever recommend to you understands the world finances better than anybody. They've predicted this stuff for decades. And the reason why I like Gregory Mannarino, he worked on Wall Street. He was one of those guys. He knows about it. He did it for decades. But he started doing this years ago to try to help us. So let's get into XRP. We're going to have to do this together, ladies and gentlemen, because if we try to do this alone, it's never going to work. That's why I encourage you to join my Telegram. I encourage you to join Tom's Army, because I've started something here that very few can understand. I'm trying to lead us in the direct position so that in 2025, and yes, like I said in 2021 in mid-June, that seems like a long ways away. I know we had to sell our beloved XRP at $1.66. I get it. But what I learned, what my hopium caused, and this is being real. When I was up, I was all the way up, and I'm looking at you so you can see me. I was up to $1.98. I had 7,000 plus shares, 78, I don't know, 7,000, 75, I don't remember exactly how many. But the point is I lost from $1.98 because I didn't want to sell, because I'm like, hey, I tried so hard to get XRP. I've been riding it on an average of 47 cents. It went to $1.98. I don't really think I want to sell it yet because I know the bigger picture. But what was I not doing? Exactly. I wasn't using my brain. I was using emotion, and it hammered me. Not to the tune of what some may think, and maybe some wouldn't even care. But I went from 17, 18,000, and then when it went down to $1.28 or $1.30 before the push back up where I sold it to $1.66, it cost me about $7,000. Fortunately, knowing how to read a chart, I seen that it was going to go up and retest the $1.75 area, $1.70. It got up to, I think, $1.78. Once it came back down and was about to breach the $1.66, that was my ultimate pivot level. I put a stop loss in there, not even a stop loss, but I put it in that if it got to $1.66, I was out and I would sell it all. And I did, and it made me a hell of a lot of money. But what hopium did was it still cost me at the end of the day 32 cents a share, and I could have sold out at $1.92 on a double top, and I seen it. And I said, you know what? I'm not selling it, but I will sell it on the right shoulder around $1.70. And that was the only saving grace I had, but I had to watch my money go down about $8,000 almost. In the time it went from $1.21 or $1.20 area back up to $1.66, gaining me 46 cents a share on 7,500 shares, we'll just say, to cut it in, and even between 7,800 or 72, wherever it was at. So that's my point. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything, and I'm not afraid to admit it. The only people who act like they know everything and can't admit that they actually receive information from others are the ones who are bullshitting you. I'm not a bullshitter, so I don't give two shits what anybody thinks about me. I'm going to continue to lead this army the way I see fit, because I believe I can do it better than anybody. Not because I understand the charts, but because life beat the shit out of me early on. I'm 39 years old now, but what I've accomplished now, you go back 5-6 years ago, broke my back at 23. Now I'm 39. It took me 7 years to be able to walk like a normal person and function in society like a normal person, because I went to therapies 5 days a week for, I think, the better part of 3/4 of a decade. And I'd still be going now if I so chose. But the point is somewhere within us, we have to find that drive, and we have to find the proper motivation. Going to work every single day is great. But if it's not something that you understand can independently build you and push you to that next pedestal, the problem for me is every job I ever had, it wasn't even one that I wanted. except when I was a personal trainer, but my broken back fucked that all up. I didn't want to break my back. I didn't want to go through the stuff I did. I didn't want to be born piss poor when I was born out of the womb. But you know what? It happens, and it builds character. And now I can sit before everybody and be like, hey, you know, just on what I know and the principles I'm trying to teach, I went from that guy with the 480 credit score. I went from that guy with no money in the bank and over $10,000 in credit card debt, living in a, what was it valued, a $3,000 trailer when it was all said and done. Yeah, it had 1,500 square feet, but it was a piece of shit where I walked right through the floor in the laundry room, let's be honest. So now I can sit here with somebody who has over 730 credit. I can sit here with somebody who doesn't have 10,000 plus in credit card debt, but somebody who has over $10,000 in credit card. A lot, I have a credit line that's well over that. Somebody who was able to pick out and take out loans now. I don't have that, the problems I had before, because the bottom line is if you live in the USA, if you can't get credit, you are fucked. I'm sorry, that light was bothering me. The credit in the US is a big secret that is so untold, but so many Americans live on credit. And I'm not talking about credit they can pay off each week. I'm talking about credit where they have to put it on their max or on their credit cards and max it out. And once it's maxed out, they can't pay the light bill. They can't buy diapers for their babies. They can't go to the gas station, and they don't even have enough funds to pay for a car to get to work. And what ends up happening, the credit cards, and hear me out before you say you're just going to max the credit cards and not worry about it because it'll all be fine. They will go after you. They will take it to court and get a judgment on you, and you may not even know it. I didn't. And one day they garnish your entire bank account. For me, it was only about $800 back in the day. It had my rent in it. Well, guess what? They didn't give a shit. Take the rent, get evicted. Do they care if you live on the street? So my life lesson to you is whenever you talk to a professional, whenever you're in a situation where you owe somebody money, where you're paying it monthly, and they try to give you shit about the workforce or whatever, that they don't have the ability because something's happening, you tell them to bend over and shove it up their ass every single time. You give them a hard kick to the dick, because when you don't have the money, they will come after you in ways you can't imagine. When you have the money, it's your money. You own them, period. Don't look at it any other way, because that's how they treat us. You need to treat them the same way, and it's time for us to get the mental capacity up so that we can deal with all this bullshit. It took me 3 decades until I was in my 30s. I think I was 33 when I finally got it, or 32. It's been spectacular. But anyhow, we're going to talk about the charts, and I just want you guys to understand. I'm here for you for the long haul, because this is the only way I know how. Without my trading, and also, I've also taken it upon myself to build my own central bank. And I've talked about this many times, and I'll talk about it many times more. But we need to talk about XRP, because honestly, like I talked about earlier, if we break out of these levels, and we can hold this area right now, and in this spot right here, I like the 371. You can say 372, 375, 378. I don't really care where you say it. But to me, the major breakout level, if we can hold this, would be, let's say 372, because we're coming on this uptrending support. Even 371, but yeah, 372 seems better, just because of the uptrending support. So 372, if we can get on top of that, we should be able to break out to around the 398 level. I mean, that's the thing, though. I don't want to say we should be able to, because that 38.2 is a critical resistance level. But what I want everybody to realize is, yes, we're pushing up. And it scares the shit out of me right now. Not because I think we're going into a bull market. Something's happening on January 31st that I don't think a lot of people realize. On Crypto.com in Canada, they're delisting USDT. So if this is a wide-scale thing that we're not hearing everything about, and I guarantee it's not just Crypto.com, wouldn't it just be perfect to have what looks like a pump that really doesn't get us anywhere? We would have, like I've said before, with XRP, for this to be a pump in my eyes that actually means something, XRP needs to get back up to where we broke down. And until we get back up to here at 45 cents, this is all bullshit. And even if we got up there, it's still bullshit. Because this pattern if you want to be real and frank, our actual pattern can bring us, and I've talked about this many times, all the way up to 76 cents. And yes, that would be unbelievably painful to sit through all that shit. But the point is that I will continue to repeat myself, and I find it very unlikely we'll ever get back up there before we break 20 cents. But there is a distinct possibility greater than 0 and greater than 10% that we could get back up there. The problem is we have a lot of resistance, and the more likely scenario is what I've been talking about the last few days. If we could get back above 371, 372, ultimately get back above 40 cents, can we get back above this level of 45 and ultimately 47 and push these levels and maybe have to retest that broken area up at 58? I think it's very unlikely. So what I think would be more likely if we could get any kind of run is we get any kind of positive momentum, we would cap any upside at around the 473 level, approximately. It depends where you hit it. Like right here's 48 cents. Oh, fuck. Wait a minute. Nope. We would cap any upside if we do it in the month of January around 48.5. So just remember that. If we want to go on some kind of remarkable rally. But if you don't break that, this is an ascending triangle. It's a bear flag. It can come all the way up there and the pattern hasn't shifted at all. But what we'll hear is it's a bull market. The whole crypto market's going nuts. XRP is about to, we're not even going to the moon, folks. Everybody says we're going to the moon. Well, what do the other people say? Oh, we're going to Mars. Hey, there's Jupiter. We're going to get on the shooting star and we're going to go all the way up to the promised land. Eventually we will, but not the way they say. Please pay attention to what I'm saying in this update. I may be rambling a lot, but I had an enlightenment moment with what happened to me on my family vacation. So if you're in my Telegram, you understand what I'm saying. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, join the Telegram. Some things are for the Telegram. Join Tom's Army. We're lacking like a son of a bitch. I must not be doing a good job with the amount of people that have fallen off. Yes, granted, we still have over 200 people, but we're getting dangerously close to the Mendoza line. When we break below the Mendoza line, Tom becomes a big dick. Because then I have to do advertising, and I do not want to do it, but I will. So pay attention to what I'm saying in this update. Show me that proper support, because I'm going to teach you life lessons. Now, I don't really give two shits about just doing crypto. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know, and I'm going to continue to pound the point. If XRP or Bitcoin continues to push up, we've got a very strong resistance at 20,400, but there's a lot in between. There's a lot in between. We can't just get there. It's going to take some time. But right now, if you're looking at the daily, we're trying to have a bullish cross. It's just, the likelihood is with how separated this is, if we ever did get up to that foregone resistance that I just said, it's going to be a rather harsh rejection more than likely. And if you look at Bitcoin, we haven't had a real retest of this break besides here. That's all the way up at 25. That's going to be tough. I think you'd probably more than likely cap the upside at around 20,413, even if you could get up there. I don't even know if we can get up there. You know what's happening tomorrow? The CPI is coming out tomorrow. So if these scumbags, because the CPI is going to show it's getting much worse, but what they're going to do, and I mark my words before I leave, and then I'm going to let you go because I have to go deal with this shit. Family drama. On vacation. So they're going to release the CPI tomorrow. Mark my words. They're going to do exactly what they always do. It's going to be a terrible reading, but what they're going to say is, the inflation's cooling. It only came out at, let's say they're estimating 5.2. And it's like, it only came out at 4.9. It means that it was less. The point is it's still year over year up 4.9%. That's not good. That means everything, even with the rate hike increases, inflation's still out of control, which it's going to continue to be out of control. So the point here is if we continue to let the establishment and the influencers that are getting paid by the establishment run what we're doing, we're never going to get ahead. We need to find people we can trust and pay attention to each other. If you want to have a deeper dive, if you want to have a deeper conversation, or if you want to put a lot more effort into this, join Tom's Army, share your charts in the Telegram, share your thoughts in the Telegram. You can bash me, but if you bash me, just know I'm a passionate person, so you better do it in the right mind, because I'm more than likely going to put you in your place. But I also take constructive criticism. Some might not think I take it well, but I believe my words that I speak prove that I do. Take a look at the Telegram if you just joined. Take a look at the passionate stuff I put in there. I'm not going to show it tonight. I'm going to leave it upon you to join Tom's army. Stay blessed, everybody. Hashtag be better, do better, and don't let some dumb fuck on the internet ruin your dreams.